Hey, what's up everyone? My name's Chris Winter and today I'm going to do an in-depth review of the brand new Nikon D3400. Now if you haven't done it yet, make sure to subscribe as I'm going to be giving away either a Nikon D3400 or a Canon T6 to a subscriber, so hit that subscribe button to enter. And guys, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely make sure to check out my brand new list that I just made, the top 10 best beginner DSLR cameras. Now, I go into a lot of detail explaining which ones would be good for you and why, so if you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description box below under this video, you can take a look. But anyway, let's review this brand new Nikon D3400. So to start off with, let's take a look at the build quality and features of the new Nikon D3400. Now, if you've ever used a Nikon DSLR before, you'll feel right at home on the D3400. It's got that kind of familiar Nikon feeling with the majority of the buttons being placed vertically to the left of the screen. Now, if this is the first DSLR that you've ever used, which might be the case with this beginner camera, you might feel that it's quite heavy, but actually compared to other DSLR cameras like the Nikon D3300, which is a bigger brother, this is actually a really light camera. It's actually quite amazing just how light this is when you consider all of the features and parts in this camera. Even compared to the previous Nikon D3300, the D3400 is now even lighter, coming in at 395 grams versus 430 grams. Now that might not seem like a lot, but if that gets you out taking photos and enjoying photography and becoming a better photographer, I think that that's a really good thing. Oh, and guys, I've also got a Nikon D3300, so if you'd like me to do a full-on head-to-head comparison between the D3400 and the D3300, comparing which one would be better for you, let me know by leaving a thumbs up in this video. So let's turn the camera around now and take a look at the LCD screen on the back of the D3400. And to start off with, I've got to say, for a beginner's camera, I've actually been really impressed with the LCD screen. It's got good brightness and it's also pretty sharp. Now coming in at 921,000 dots, it's a similar display to the one in the older version. For me though, one thing that this camera is missing, and I'm a little bit disappointed about, is a touchscreen, especially for a beginner's camera, because they're so much easier to use. Having a touchscreen really can be great, especially if you're used to shooting on your phone. That being said, even in bright daylight, the screen on the Nikon D3400 is quite good, so it should work well when you're not going to be using the viewfinder at the top here. And guys, let me know if you could win a Nikon D3400 or the Canon T6, which one would it be and why? And I'll take a look at your comments down below. Now, one of the new standout features on the Nikon D3400 is its inclusion of SnapBridge technology. Essentially, SnapBridge allows you to take a photo on your Nikon camera and have it automatically transferred to your phone or your tablet. Overall, it worked really quite well in my testing. Now this might seem like a bit of a small inclusion to seasoned photographers, but for people getting into photography, this is a great inclusion. I think especially for younger users who are used to sharing their photos on places like Facebook and Instagram, having the ability to take good quality photos on their DSLR and then share it is a really great thing. So good work with that one, Nikon. By the way guys, if you'd like to see heaps of sample images taken with a Nikon D3400, what I'll do is put a link in the description box below under this video and you can take a look at them in your own time. So the D3400 just got released a few weeks ago, and being in the beginner market, it's actually got a lot of competition. Firstly, the camera most people will be comparing it to is the Nikon D3300, which came before it. Now the cameras themselves are actually really quite similar, but the fact that the Nikon D3400 does have wireless capabilities and also a longer battery life is a real key to me. And then we've got Canon, who released their Canon T6 earlier this year, and this has been an incredibly popular beginner's camera. To me, it looks like the D3400 is going to be slightly better with a larger sensor and a higher burst rate, but I'll have to test that more in my comparison review, which will be up in the next few days. Now, one thing I really wanted to talk about is battery life, and this is huge. Now, I've found that the battery on the D3400 is a huge step up in comparison to the old D3300. Now, Nikon are claiming that the battery life is around 1200 shots per charge on the D3400 compared to just 700 shots on the older model. And in my testing, that's just about right. But what does that mean to you? Well, it essentially means that rather than taking a spare battery with you on your weekend away, you should be pretty fine just to take your camera and go without the worry that you're going to be running out of battery. So let's quickly talk about video for a second, and overall I was pretty impressed with the D3400, especially for a beginner level camera. Generally, I tend to recommend Canon or Sony over Nikon if you really want to take video seriously, but for everyday shots, the D3400 will be totally fine. One thing that I am a little bit disappointed about on the Nikon D3400 is that for some reason they've left out the microphone jack that they had on the old D3300. Look, for most people who use this camera, that's not going to be a big deal, but for all the budding cinematographers, that's a little bit of a bummer. But overall, for most video occasions, the D3400 will do the job well. So now I want to talk about the burst mode on the new Nikon D3400. Now this new Nikon can shoot at around about 5 frames per second, which sounds a little bit like this. So for a beginner DSLR, that's actually really quite an impressive speed, especially compared to competitors like the Canon T6. And it'd be great if you want to be taking shots of sports or something like wildlife. Autofocus was also really quite good. Compared to other models like the Nikon D5500 or D7200, it's a little bit slower, but for nearly every other occasion, the D3400 performed fantastically. So overall, as you can probably tell, I've actually been pretty impressed with this new Nikon D3400. Apart from a few things missing like the touchscreen and the microphone jack, this is a very capable entry-level DSLR, and it's definitely going to be one of the most popular DSLRs for 2017 and onwards. So guys, if you haven't done it yet, definitely make sure to subscribe to go into the draw to win a Canon T6 or a Nikon D3400, and definitely make sure to check out my top 10 list of the best beginner DSLRs. That link will be in the description box below under this video, and it's well worth a look. Hope you enjoyed this video, hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.